Welcome in another edition, Tuesday edition, Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you today. Ole Miss baseball in Pearl tonight, Trustmark Park for the Governor's Cup. Ole Miss won the Governor's Cup last year, 5-2. Kind of started their playing better on route to the postseason and saving their season, but Ole Miss in a different situation, even 3 games behind that mark from this time last year. Rebels 3-15 in the SEC. And have lost 21 of the last 27 overall to the Bulldogs going into tonight. Grayson Saunier on the mound. So I won't hit a ton of that. There's a little bit of baseball news today. The SEC with potentially a really stupid rule change that has maybe the best intent and no chance of working. We'll talk about that today. And pretty interesting night in the NBA and more is it's April 25th, and we need things to talk about with you guys, entertain you, educate you, and interact with you here today on the show. A show brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Appreciate my buddy Robert Chapman. Took his kid to get a donut this morning. Put a picture of it up on Twitter. You get plenty of donut options there in Clinton at the Blue Sky location. They're coming to all the Blue Sky locations around Mississippi. Right now it's in Clinton. It's doing there well, so I appreciate Rob. If any of you other guys are getting donuts, let us know on social media. Maybe I'll get my Twitter back at some point, and I can participate in the conversation there. Here locally, the ribs, the lunch specials, and much more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number to call. Call it. Ask for our friend Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours, right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get your quote. The rest completely up to you. You can shop that quote around. You can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do. Let's hop into a Clark Ford today. 662-257-1900. Corey and the people at Clark Ford, they want to be your car guy. They want to be your truck guy. They want to build a relationship with you, and they'll prove it to you when you make that call. Again, 662-257-1900. Are you a displaced corporate executive? Are you wanting to put your career in your own hands? Are you an experienced entrepreneur wanting to diversify? Andy Ludicky can help. He's a longtime Rivals board member, diehard college football fan, franchise veteran. He owns multiple franchises and businesses and uses his expertise to help others find their American dream through a very thorough and free consultation process. So call Andy, put your life and your career in your own hands. It's 100% free. So what do you have to lose? Find your perfect franchise at myperfectfranchise.net. Contact Andy anytime at andy@myperfectfranchise.net or call 404-973-9901. Do you miss Twitter? Going 3 or 4 days without it?
Okay, yes and no. In a way, no, it's been almost kind of nice because it's not there. I mean, I can go to the Rebel Grove account, but it's not following anywhere near as many accounts. Right. I mean, I'm not seeing the same things as I would on my personal account. And I'm not going to go in and doctor and follow a bunch of stuff to try to make it fit my needs. I have found that I miss, on the very off chance I want to interact, the ability to interact. But at the same time, no, I feel like it's almost kind of made my life a little less anxious, if that's the word. Maybe anxious isn't the word, but
no, I think anxious is a good word.
Yeah, I feel in some ways like with it not being there and knowing that you're just doing something else and you're not kind of wondering if you're missing something nonstop. Yeah, there's probably something to that. Because I mean, I've done that. I don't want to get rid of it because of kids' photos and stuff, but like Facebook, like I basically am trying to completely avoid it. I don't, because here's the truth. I go through it and I scroll and I go, I don't care about any of these people. And I don't mean that badly.
No.
But like the way the algorithm is, very few people that I would want to see their stuff, either they don't post or I don't see that anyway.
Right.
So, I mean, I've got the 175 friends from college and high school who I don't talk to, and that's what I see the majority of the time. And I go, okay, I haven't talked to this person in 14 years. Mm-hmm. So what difference does it make?
I hardly ever use Facebook. I keep it because it's got all those photos stored up. I don't really know why. It wasn't a conscious decision. I spend less time on Twitter today than maybe I ever have. I think it's because I have figured out, well, you and I were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm as, quote, into sports as I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago.
Okay.
I follow sports, but I can go to The Athletic. I can read a variety of things. If The Athletic went out of business, there would be a void.
It is by far the number one site I read every day, athletically.
Yes.
At least.
I think they do good work.
No pun intended.
And so I can follow them. I can keep up with stuff. I have a Cubs podcast that I listen to. I have a Thunder podcast that I listen to on occasion. Not every one. They do a really good job, but I listen to enough of it. I listen to Rosillo some when I want to get sports. I listen every day to Breaking Points. It's become a daily staple for me, and I mix in enough.
A news political podcast for anyone unaware.
Yeah, it's excellent. Like this job they did yesterday with the Tucker Carlson stuff, the Don Lemon stuff, the Biden announcing his reelection. I mean, there's so much. They did a great job yesterday. They do a great job every day. It's about an hour and 30 minutes, and it's become a staple of my day. And then I'll listen to a little Corolla here and there, and I listen to a little Rogan here and there, which is when people say, do you listen to music? The answer is no, I don't really have time.
Yeah.
But I don't go down the Twitter rabbit holes very much at all.
Less.
Significantly less.
And you think it's because of your interest in sports?
Yeah, I think so.
Waning.
Just changing.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, look, I'm interested in the NFL draft, but I'm not one of these people that's like studying who's going to go in the 4th round. We need it, for like yesterday. Ole Miss got a basketball recruit, and he broke it on Twitter. This will shock you. I know. I reached out to him. He has not responded. I know that's stunning for you. I don't need it as much. To the point where, like, if I got out of this and did something different, I could give up Twitter, and I don't think I would miss it.
You don't think you would curate the feed to your interest and then still have an interest in scrolling?
I really don't.
Because it can be the most powerful search engine out there if you use it correctly.
Absolutely.
That caveat's important there.
Yes. But the answer is no. I don't really think I'd need it because I can get a lot of my social stuff off Instagram. I don't post on Instagram, but the people that I care about in my life post on Instagram, so I can keep up with them.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I hardly ever post on Instagram.
That's interesting.
But, the girls are on Instagram a lot.
Yeah, sure.
All their friends are on Instagram a lot. And those are the people that I keep up with. Those are the people that I mean, for lack of a better term, care about.
Yeah, I get it.
And so, Campbell graduates in a couple of weeks, and she's got this group of friends that, I'm not going to say that they're like family to us, but God, we've gotten to know them so well that, we keep up with them. We cheer for them. So when they post all their senior photos and stuff, that's what I'm hitting the heart button on or whatever. I don't keep up with a lot of other stuff. So it's interesting. The social media consumption for me has just totally changed in 2 years.
It's affected. Social media consumption for me has changed, but I think it's also a phase of life in some ways. I think it's related to so many other parts of just what's going on as I'm 39, turning 40 later in the year, is that with family stuff, whatever, busier than 5-10 years ago in different ways for sure. Interest changing just because of age, for sure. It's not like a midlife crisis. I'm not freaking out over 40. I'm not doing anything like that. But you do start paying a little more attention to some medical numbers and some things about fitness and health and all these different things. And I think that has related to the things that I'm consuming. I think it's one of the reasons why I've become much more inundated in audiobooks that are a little more of not like traditional self-help, but I'm learning things. I'm trying to figure things out. I think if there's a quest for knowledge at 40 that maybe there wasn't there for 30 or 35 because you almost kind of felt young and like you're living forever and it didn't matter as much and there'd always be a tomorrow. And I think in some ways it correlates to the sports calendar the way it is. We were talking about before the show, I still love football, so I'll watch tons of football when the fall gets here, but my spring has always been pretty inundated with college baseball, and the team's not very good right now. So it's a different level of interest. It's a different level of following it. And I have never been in the routine, or I haven't been in the routine in a dozen years of picking up Major League Baseball. I don't really watch the NBA, even though I have found myself watching more playoffs than I typically do. I'm not a NHL fan beyond just kind of a joking fandom of the Blackhawks. So where I have put my interest is in other things, but it's more in things for myself as much as anything else. No, I don't. If you listen to Rosillo and some of that, and I know he's not all sports, but you probably listen to more sports podcasts than I do because I don't know that I ever turn on a sports podcast. Mine is Rogan or something to do with like the entertainment industry, like movie drafts or something just funny or light that I run to or something like that. I mean, but it's more knowledge based. It's very, very, very infrequently. I'm never going to turn on a podcast and go, "This is my sports news for the day," and I'm getting it in my ears as I go on my run. That just isn't. That is not a thing. I will, as you said, I might go to ESPN.com, scroll some headlines. I'll go to the Athletic, read the newsletter. Frankly, that's for the show as much as anything else. But at the same time, I am picking up news from the day. They're making sure I didn't miss anything. And then I kind of move on. But I mean, I did find myself last night. There was stuff on TV. I could have watched golf. I could have turned on the Food Network. I did turn on Bucks Heat, and I was very entertained with the second half of Bucks Heat. I mean, I am trying to scroll through sports on TV more at night. That's almost a goal of mine for the year, is at least kind of look at it and see what's going on and be a little more aware as that happens. I mean, I
do think it's a negative of when I had DirecTV, it was so much easier to just scroll baseball games. And now you've got to get out of your game. You got to go into the new game. And I know it's not first world problems.
Yeah, sure.
But it makes it a little less convenient to go, hey, all right, I'm watching like tonight. Tonight I'll be in Tupelo, but on a typical night, I would have Cubs Padres on in the background somewhere. And if it got out of hand, the Padres are up 7-1. I'm flipping. I'll go find somebody else. Now it's when you get out of that game, it's kind of just easier just to go hit home and go back to
start
something
over.
Else. Yeah, and so I mean, I watched the second half of Bucks Heat last night. Jimmy Butler was amazing. It was great.
56, shooting over 60% from the field last night.
He was amazing. I mean, and that series is getting interesting now because Miami's going to get a shot at a home game to put the Bucks away. And an 8 beating a 1 happens, but it doesn't happen often. It is the answer to some people when they're like, well, the NBA doesn't have any depth. No, the NBA has depth. I mean, the fact that Minnesota is a game, not Minnesota. I think about Jimmy Butler in Minnesota. Miami is 1 win away from the Eastern Conference semifinals as an 8 seed, sort of shoots that theory down. And forgive my voice, by the way. It's just shot. Me and Morgan hung out too much.
So I wasn't even going to mention this. I had this written down yesterday, but we got into this kind of live talk a little bit. It's good. I saw this in a newsletter yesterday that I was reading. It was a story from the Wall Street Journal. So you may have seen this because you and I both read the Wall Street Journal pretty often.
I do.
They did a poll along with a research arm of the University of Chicago this week. And they basically asked tons of people across all kind of different demographics to rate their happiness in their lives. Very happy, sort of happy, not happy, terrible, whatever. I don't know all the different whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Only 12% said very happy. Not just happy, but very happy. 12%.
Okay.
Which is not a surprise. That's not, I mean, a lot of people, if they have one problem they're worried about, they probably wouldn't go all the way to very happy.
Yeah.
So the Wall Street Journal took that 12%, called them and asked why, and tried to figure out what it was about the 12% that was commonalities.
Okay. What was it that made them, quote, very happy?
Yeah, getting there.
Okay.
So they did. They called them. Here's the 4. And this isn't shocking, but might be something people take with them in whatever way this is. The first one is a free space. Companionship. 67% of the happiest people said the marriage or the most significant people closest to them was very important and well, compared to 43% of overall respondents. So a large jump in whoever is closest to you in your lives there being a good relationship. Again, that's not a shock at all. Religion, 2/3 of very happy people characterize themselves as moderately or very religious. The overall share, less than half of that. Again, make of it what you will. Not my thing to tell you one way or the other. This is not a shock. I actually fully expected this and it to be true. It's what people said in the stream that made me think of this. Closer to death, people 60 and over accounted for 44% of the happiest group, but represented just 30% of the total survey respondents. They figure out what they want to do with their lives. They figure out the value of time.
Mm-hmm.
They stop worrying about all the trivial shit that we bury inside our lives every day.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. There is a peace, potentially, with it. That you are using your days in ways And frankly, you're fortunate to still have them if you're older.
Sure. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I get that.
And the last one, because as a lot of people have figured out, this is maybe even more than nutrition, the most important thing to longevity and keeping whatever is exercise.
No question.
People with some level of fitness as a common interest were highly among the very happy people
Yes.
that they monitored. Yeah.
There are natural endorphins that kick in from exercise that absolutely curb depression.
The absolute thing that did not resonate at all with this group is political party affiliation and people avoiding politics. Politics was not seen in any part of the very, very, very happy people.
So
Anyone who focused on politics.
Those people avoided politics.
Yes, or at least the people who were engaged in politics were not among the very happy group. I guess.
Yeah.
Same thing, but backwards.
My thing with avoiding politics is I don't really know how you go about avoiding politics. Like when people go, well, politics doesn't matter to you. To me, I'm like, yeah, it does. It absolutely does. If you can't say that your life is unimpacted by politics when your life is most certainly impacted by politics.
Look, I try to have a healthy thing with it because 10 years ago I was politically obsessed, and I've become less so as years have gone on for many reasons. The fact that our country has become so team oriented in politics, the fact that it's gotten so extreme on both sides and to all levels. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it. You got other things that matter more locally to me, just that I can affect on my daily life.
Sure.
And you only have so much energy.
Sure.
And a part of the reason, and to answer your question is, and maybe there's an answer, and maybe this is me being apathetic in a way that's bad. I'll fully open this up to our thousands of listeners to answer this. I can stress about it, and I can read all about it, and it is going to affect me emotionally and mentally, and it's going to keep me up at night. What say do I have in it? What can I do about it?
Nothing.
So what good is that doing me?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I need to be educated. You
Sure.
need to know how to handle and maneuver through what is going on. But as far as getting down rabbit holes, that things that are going to freak me out or upset me or cause me mental whatever.
Sure.
Why?
I think it's my frustration with our field. It's why one of the things that's happened with me over the last few years is I don't like our field. I don't like media. And media people lose their mind when you say that to them. I just don't like media. I think they have failed. It's one of the reasons I love that.
Well, they're not nuanced anymore.
It's one of the reasons I love
by God, it's all or nothing. And
I mean, the best example of it, the very best example of it is this hacker, not hacker, but the kid, the 21-year-old kid that posted all the stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
The obsession with getting him and locking him up. I was just stunned by it. I was like, you guys were given a treasure trove of information about what's really going on in the world. You should be digging into that. But they didn't. I mean, some did. Breaking Points did. It's one of the reasons I love them. The Wall Street Journal did a little bit. A few did, but like a lot of mainstream media just avoided it completely. Well, there was a lot of stuff in there that was disturbing if you have young people in your life.
Kind of correlated to this, and I just saw this from this study from the Wall Street Journal. And so they asked this question first in 1998. They've been doing these polls with the same type of information since 1998. In 1998, 70% of respondents were deemed patriotic or patriotism to be very important, and 62% said religion was very important. This is overall, not happy, but overall.
Yeah.
This last time, 38 and 39%. 38% for patriotism, 39% for religion. Down from 70 and 62 25 years ago. Ooh.
Yeah, I'd have to really dive in on that. I'd have to really do some
that's a basic answer.
process.
I mean, so we don't have enough information, but that's...
Well, no, I mean, I'd have to... I mean, there's no question we're less patriotic today than we were 2 decades ago. I'm not exactly sure why. I mean, I'm not really sure why. And then the religion thing is 1998. There wasn't social media, really.
There wasn't social media.
You know,
No. Yeah. MySpace was not even a thing. I mean,
taking it full circle, I think for the most part, social media is destructive. I do. I mean,
anonymity is destructive. The ability to say things to lots of people at your fingertips is destructive.
Yes.
The ability to read mass consumption and see mass consumption with such spin on it is disruptive. I mean, Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat or any of those things, again, use them. You can use them effectively. I'm not old man yelling at cloud, but there's no doubt that it is mentally disruptive for people to go on and see nothing but the best version of everyone else and compare themselves to that. I mean, that's a no-brainer that is without debate. There's no way you can argue that going and convincing yourselves or having kids or teenagers or young 20s people who are not fully developed and fully mature to understand context to see nothing but these thin and fit and whatever people and doing all these things, and these people going, oh God, I make $70,000 a month not working and doing influencing, and no, it screws with your damn brain.
And there's some good stuff on it. Like I've built some workout routines around stuff that I've seen on pretty much Instagram.
I did use AOL Messenger in 98. You're right, Bubblefish.
Recipes.
Oh, no, but it's back to the other thing. I said smartly.
Right.
It's all like AI. The guy who gets in the room and goes, hey, AI has a purpose. I'm like, yes, if you absolutely know how to do every activity and you simply could use this to help you set up something, sure. That's completely different than, hey, AI, write a term paper on the medieval whatever and use 8th grade language in doing so. Well, you don't know how to do the damn thing in the first place.
Right.
So, no, that's cheating. If I'm curating whatever and I go, hey, AI, can you grab the top 10 Major League Baseball home run leaders and just give them to me real quick? Okay, thanks. I have them now.
Sure.
I could have found it for myself. It just saved me 3 minutes.
Sure.
That's completely different of a deal. It's a lot like Twitter, social media, anything. Yeah, I can set up my Twitter, my Instagram, my Snapchat, and make it very helpful for me. Most people don't do that.
Right.
You have to want to do that. You have to, I mean, I could follow nothing but the best 50 websites in the country for accuracy, and I've got a different Twitter experience than 99.9% of the people at that point. Anyway, I digress. Podcast brought to you in part by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. 7 different flavors available for you. You can get it delivered straight to your door. Everything from their New Orleans-style barbecue, their signatures, 2 of my favorites, all the way to the garlic herb butter, the French Quarter Alfredo, and more. So use code RG for 5 packs or more. You get 25% off. Great deal there with Prime Shrimp to try some different styles and see what works for you and your family. Also, they are available at all Rouse's markets. Those are Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. If you see a Rouse's, they'll have Prime Shrimp. So again, that's code RG, primeshrimp.com.
Walk On Sports Bistro puts everything they've got into bringing you game day with the taste of Louisiana. Dig into their mouth-watering, made from scratch Louisiana cuisine, po' boys, gumbo, voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers, fresh salads, all in front of 70-plus TVs, 40-plus ice-cold beers on tap. You can also order online at walkons.com or on their convenient Walk-Ons app. Check them out in Oxford or Ridgeland, especially today. The College Corner is your one-stop Rebel Shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area. In Ridgeland, it's next to Fleet Feet. In Flowood, it's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. If you're tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family this fall, the College Corner has you covered for game day with the largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. We're brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, but same great people, same great products, same great services. If you live in Oxford, Batesville, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call Southern 662-429-4429. A-Stock is a Nashville-based online retail company with the mission to provide customers the power to name their price. All items start at just $1. That's right. All items start at $1, no matter what the retail value may be. Shop now at astock.bid. That's ASTOCK.BID. Or download their app. Name your price on thousands of items from big-name retailers. A-Stock has multiple locations around Nashville as well as Memphis, Selma, Indiana, and more. And coming soon, more markets that offer local pickups. So don't miss out. And we're brought to you by Solutions RX. I told you yesterday about prescription support, but Solutions RX also has several different multivitamins, supplements, things to just help you stay healthier over the long term. So get in touch with them on solutionsrx.com or in independent pharmacies across the continental U.S., including all across Mississippi. So solutionsrx.com, promo code OEP at checkout, and get 10% off your order. Deadsoxy.com, best socks you'll ever put on your feet. It's starting to get warmer outside. Stock up on the no-shows if you're like me and you just cannot stand going barefoot with your loafers or whatnot. The Dead Soxy socks are a total game changer. They don't slide. They stay up. They keep your feet nice and cool and allow you to still be fashionable. So it's deadsoxy.com. Promo code Rebel Grove at checkout for 25% off your order.
Podcast was brought to you by the Ole Miss Athletics Foundation. If you're ready for the Grove, join Vaught Hemingway Stadium this fall 2023 football season. Order tickets now and participate in the seat selection process. To explore seating options, you can visit OleMissTix.com or call 662-915-7159 today to help Ole Miss lock the vault. Again, that's OleMissTix.com, 662-915-7159. Yeah, the no-shows are great on the golf course, too. They're fantastic for golfers to wear while you're on the course. Comfortable. They breathe. They're excellent for that way.
Oh, they're perfect.
Yeah. I don't wear them with loafers because I don't mind the sockless feel on loafers, but I absolutely love them on the golf course. So
yeah.
Anyway,
I can't go sockless. It just drives me nuts.
Does it really?
Mm-hmm.
Just
always
the feel,
has.
the sweating, the whole deal.
Yeah.
I'm going to get to sports in a minute, but frankly, we can just keep talking about whatever if you'd like. Did you see where I saw this morning? There's a big fad going on now. You can tell Laura this to not mow your yard for a few weeks and to let the bees and the pollinators really pick up.
Oh.
That it helps your yard situation.
I have not heard that.
It improves yard health. I've got studies right here in front of me that I can.
I will need multiple.
We're gonna need some ironclad facts here.
Yeah, I mean.
It says to help pollinators, a good first step is to stop treating your yard with chemicals. Grass should be allowed to grow to around 6 inches before it's cut to roughly 4 inches. They recommend mowing on the highest setting and then suggest cutting grass every 2 weeks. It will help boost the number of bees. The recent study found that turf lawns enhanced with flowering plants supported more diverse bee communities and kept everything more healthy in your landscaping and yard.
Huh. Well, send it along. I'll
6 inches to 4 inches.
I'll
also makes it more drought resistant, deeper roots. A lot of stuff here.
Oh, I mean, I can see it. I just
allows native plants to potentially.
Laura likes the yard to look a certain way. And once we get to about 5-6 days out of mowing and edging and all of that, it begins to take a less concise look. And I begin to hear are you mowing soon?
Is it a question or a statement?
It's a statement. It's phrased as a question. But in reality, what it says is you're mowing soon.
It's about that time.
The only thing I don't like about mowing, I actually like mowing. What I don't like about is the edger. Getting the feed, the wire to feed out of both sides and consistently do it is a problem. It drives me crazy. Having to stop, redo it. If I could just get the equipment to work consistently, I'm good.
Okay.
Yep. But I'll pass that along.
I don't like the chances, but it's fine.
Not even a little bit.
So, you read much on this fan storming the field thing from the SEC yesterday?
Yeah, Tyler and I talked about it a little bit on McCready and Siskey yesterday.
Did he think it's as dumb as I do? Because it has no chance of working.
I think he thinks that it's going to pass.
Well, that's a different conversation.
I don't know that he really expressed an opinion. I think it's one of these things, right? Where
real quick for anyone,
okay.
Instead of fining, because fining does not work in any way, especially with the budgets the way they are today in Southeastern Conference football and the way they're going to be in the future for SEC football, they are saying that you would lose a home game if you stormed the field. So the next time you played that team, you would essentially play them on the road instead of at home next time that was supposed to be scheduled. Yeah, passing is a completely different thing. I think it's very possible that it will pass for a couple different reasons. A, it's a way to not actually take money from pockets in a direct way, too. The three people who have had this brainchild to push it through, that is Alabama, Athletic Director Greg Byrne, Georgia Athletic Director Josh Brooks, and Kentucky Athletic Director Mitch Barnhart. They were the three proposing this, that again, future home games be flipped to road games as punishment rather than the fines that escalate and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, here's my thing. Here's my thing. I think.
Are you arguing for this?
No.
Okay.
Nope. I think sometimes in society in general, an idea makes sense on paper. Okay. And you go, you know where I'm going with this. You have the ideal world.
Well, sure.
And then you have the real world. And in the ideal world, one of two things. Either, hey, people don't storm the field. Or if they do storm the field, everything is pretty peaceful. Nobody gets temper flared. It's all good. Nobody gets hurt.
Sure.
In the real world, at the end, it's like doing W's and L's before the season, right? We do W's and L's on April the 25th, and you're like, yeah, so Ole Miss and Texas A&M.
W. Whatever, yeah.
Or that's an L. And you're like, that kind of pisses me off. But it doesn't nearly piss you off as much as the day that the L happens, right? When there was a holding penalty that negated a touchdown, right? That's real world, ideal world. That's the emotional world versus the unemotional world.
Well, it's the August. Hey, Ole Miss could go 8-4. You cool with that? Yeah, it's a pretty good season. Lose the last 4 in a row. You got to live through those damn losses.
Right.
Suddenly 8-4 doesn't feel quite so good.
There's paper and there's reality. And on paper, this makes a ton of sense. Because
sure,
I think it was Tennessee, Alabama. The wide receiver punches the girl in the face.
Yeah.
And he punched her in the face. What if he'd really hurt her? What if she'd been knocked out and trampled?
They are very fortunate there's not been a tragedy in one of these. Because you're dealing with pissed off players,
right,
shit tons of people, and alcohol.
And alcohol. Exactly.
I mean,
so you have a day.
And falling goalpost. Metal that is coming down to the ground.
Bingo. So on paper, hey, let's stop this.
Sure.
Now, reality.
Yeah, here's the thing. This is why I get it. I understand around the conference table, we can all clap and shake hands and go, this makes sense. College football is the most emotional game on the planet. It is fed off the pageantry and emotion and caring about the laundry and caring about the outcome and living for the Saturdays and the tailgating and all the stuff that we do with college football.
Mm-hmm.
It is the most emotional game out there.
Mm-hmm.
More people get their identities if they get it from a sport through college football than any other sport in the world.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
You could argue some EPL teams, but I have no way to know that either way.
Well, you
in America.
Certainly can say in North America.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like in the fine situation, because when the fine situation was happening, they go, well, it's not my money. I'm not paying it. I mean, there's no repercussion to – because here's a couple parts of that. I've got a point. If you really wanted to stop it, if you really went, hey, no, this is dangerous and this cannot happen, we have to hardline this, period.
Mm-hmm.
Let you guys know if you come on the field, you're going to be arrested and prosecuted, and then you follow through with it. You do that a couple times, and you're banned for 5 years from buying season tickets or coming into the game. I know it sounds crazy, but it would take that, because here's the thing. That is a punishment to the person doing it.
Yeah.
Nothing they're doing is a punishment to the person doing it, because schools know they can't arrest everybody. Frankly, as long as you're not doing something dumb. I mean, the only person, like there was a story in The Athletic this morning where the author, the writer, was at the Tennessee-Alabama game, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the only person that was arrested that he saw was someone who literally was pushing cops because he would not give the cop part of the goalpost. That was it. Otherwise, cops can with the goalpost, because what are you going to do? It's thousands of people on the field. So there's no repercussion or punishment to the actual person. It's somebody else's problem. And when emotion is going through, that fan is not going, hey, are we all going to go on the field and all these thousands? Hey, whoop, guys, better not, because in 4 years, we're going to have to play Georgia on the road instead of home. There's zero thought process that will ever go through their minds for that.
Not at 10:15 at night.
Hey, think of the revenue we're going to lose not getting that home game in 2 years. When we're seniors, we're not going to be come on.
Well, especially when the security people are, and this isn't a knock on the security people, But these aren't the most highly trained, highly professional law enforcement.
And aren't making enough to actually get in the middle of this.
They're going to risk their health? No.
Hey, Joe, go. Hell no.
No. Have at it. And so if you have to go hire a lot of, off-duty police officers or whatnot, well, now you're adding a tremendous expense, and it won't work in reality. Now, when they pass this, and Tyler thinks they will, and hey, look,
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I'll buy that.
The first time that they do it will be the last time that they do it.
Oh, think so.
Okay. South Carolina plays Georgia. South Carolina beats Georgia.
Okay.
The fans storm the field. It's nighttime. It's a hot day in Columbia. God only knows how many vodka tonics and bourbons and I guess Miller Lights and Coors Lights now people had in Columbia that day. The alcohol's flowing, I'm guessing, at Williams-Brice. Okay?
Yeah.
They charge the field, tear down the goalposts, celebrate. The SEC goes, all right, well, in 2 years, instead of this game being in Columbia, it's going to be in Athens. We're going to play this bitch in Athens 3 years in a row now because of you. The pushback's going to be, are you serious? What were we to do? When South Carolina says, look at all of the measures we took. We had 90,000 people there.
Can I also be hand raised, guy, real quick?
Yeah.
Did we not find it a little convenient that the triumvirate that put this in place is Alabama, Kentucky, and Georgia?
Of course.
And over the course of basketball and football, these schools who would get their courts be on the losing end of those games the most, hence get more home games with this stupid rule?
Yes. It's
come on. I go, hey,
it's
Greg.
Transparent. Right. It'd be one thing.
This isn't Vanderbilt's guy going, oh, God, come
Right.
on. This is stupid. This is Georgia and Alabama and Kentucky looking for another competitive advantage.
Yeah.
And they're going to get it passed because all the rest of the SEC goes, that's a good idea. Let's try it. Oh, what are we doing?
That's what I'm saying. I would be the guy that sits in the room and goes, look, I get it that this quote makes sense. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. But hey, man, going full circle, if you pay attention to our society today, we do a lot of stuff in our society today that on paper looks really great. But in reality, is really effing stupid. We do it all over society. That's not a political commentary. It's just fact. Across the board. It's become what we do. Well, this sounds good. Yeah, okay, but it doesn't work. There's no pragmatism anymore. There's no practicality anymore.
Well, we can't do those things that would actually stop it, so we just have to do something. Well, okay.
Okay, well, if you're really serious about doing something, then fork up the cash, hire law enforcement, and tell people if you charge the field, you will be arrested and prosecuted, and then do it. That's the only way that you're going to change it. Where drunk guy up in the stands goes, it's not worth it. I'm going to get locked out of here for 5 years.
Yeah, his wife is going, absolutely freaking not.
No, you're going to go to jail. It's going to be embarrassing. You're going to get booked.
You're going to ruin my night.
You're going to ruin a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to go to jail. You're going to get booked. There's going to be a court fees. You're going to get charged with a misdemeanor, all that stuff. And DAs are going to prosecute it. Well, we know that's not going to happen. So this is a feel-good thing. This is just feel-good. This is to make them go, hey, we did something today. No, you didn't. You solved absolutely nothing. You just created a potential headache. And if I'm Greg Sankey, I'm like, you guys don't want me to enforce this. You really don't want this enforced. I'd love to know Greg Sankey's reaction to a simple question of, Greg, I get that on paper this makes a ton of sense. In reality, this is pretty stupid, right? Deep down, you're a smart guy. You know this is kind of dumb. Where's the Iron Bowl this year?
I don't know.
I think it's in Auburn. Hugh Freeze caps off a successful year one with a win over Alabama, and the Auburn fans charge the field. Are you telling me they're going to put the next three Iron Bowls?
Auburn.
Okay, they're going to put the next 3 Iron Bowls in Tuscaloosa?
You don't think so?
Do you? You tell me. Let's play that out. Auburn has a successful year, kind of plucky. Remember that, 2012? I guarantee the one word for Auburn 2023 that I think you can bet on is they're going to be kind of plucky. They're going to play really hard. So they pull it off. They knock off Alabama. I don't know who the kicker is for Auburn, but he hits a 47-yarder at the buzzer. Auburn wins 27-25. You get that whole student section that's right there down on the field, and they've been going all day. They've had some drinks. They've got their orange and blue pom-poms, and they've been doing Bada and all that stuff, and they run out on the field. You're telling me that you're going to say, okay, well, you did it. Next 3 Iron Bowls are in Tuscaloosa. I don't believe that for 1 minute.
What about this one? Again, I don't mind them rushing the field, frankly. It doesn't bother me. But Boblefish, good point. Students are the ones rushing the field first. Ban the student section for a game.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
No.
I don't hate that at all, actually.
No. I mean, again.
Not a huge revenue loss, but a punishment.
Yeah. Practicality.
It fits the crime. I don't hate that at all.
Practicality.
That's good. Thank you. I like that.
But that's practical.
It's very practical.
Now, how do you prevent students from getting tickets and?
Well, okay, no, but that section is empty.
Okay,
we don't sell those tickets. I mean, yeah, if a student wants to go sit in section M, whatever, cool.
Okay,
not my problem. Yeah, I'm not banning students. I'm banning the student section. There's a difference. I'm good.
Yeah.
No issue there at all. I'm trying to think of a problem with it, and there's not one.
Doors says he don't want to ban anyone, just let it be. And I'm kind of with Doors. And you just hope for the best. I mean, there's a lot of that in society if you think about it. You just can't legislate everything. Everything can't be eliminated. I mean, I remember I've told my girls a couple of times, do not storm the field. Don't get down there. Just don't do it.
Have you really?
Yeah. Because bad things could happen to a girl. Get knocked over, trampled. Like Arkansas who they beat a couple years ago, Texas, and it was the end of a very long, hot day in Fayetteville. And they blew Texas off the field, and they charged the field and all that stuff. And there were tons of kids, and I was looking at location to make sure my kids weren't there. I was like, you don't need to be on the field because neither one of you are paying enough attention to protect yourself.
Oh, well, sure, yeah. I got a thing back from Twitter. Maybe I got my account at least a step toward getting it back this morning.
You.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, it says we've connected to your email account. Can you please provide your password? It's like they changed the password. I don't know. Like,
yeah. You just have to email them that. When that happened to me, we just exchanged emails, and eventually we got it done.
Okay. So they're giving me my account back.
Yeah, they're in the process of doing it. Apparently, it's not just a simple button.
Okay. It's been fine. It's been the weirdest thing, though, because like I was expecting it to turn into a Japanese currency account. Like I was expecting Bitcoin or something to become what my account was, and they did nothing.
The guy that blocked,
they did nothing.
The guy that stole mine blocked me on Twitter.
What do you want with it? He didn't do anything.
He just advertised his.
He did advertise though. He did Bitcoin. Something.
Oh,
See, there was nothing on mine.
Yeah, no, he posted a bunch of stuff, which was the end of him because I was like, that's not me.
Yeah, no, mine.
I should have just let him have it. It's yours. Congratulations.
Possession is 9/10 of the law here.
Yeah. I mean, it's yours. I don't know. It's a dumb rule. I get it. It's what we do now in society. I think I've come to that conclusion. We do things because it sounds good, not because it's actually good in reality. And this is dumb in reality if you actually enforce that. So 2 years later, when you take away Auburn's home game because 8,000 drunk kids happily celebrated Auburn beating Alabama at Jordan Hare on a Saturday in late November feels sort of ridiculous, doesn't it?
Well, sure.
You want me to read some ads while you're figuring that out?
Yeah, go ahead for a second.
Right.
Sorry.
We're brought to you by Game Changer Patches. They're the only 2-patch system available in the market. Stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game and ready for your next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout and get 20% off your purchase. ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation Recognized System Integrator. ACS has you covered with servicing and installing Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with ACS, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. My good friends Alan and Nancy King at Lammons Fine Jewelry are retiring here this summer. They're going to be closing Lammons sometime in June. So I highly recommend that you stop by at 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford sometime in the next couple of months. Thank them for serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. And who knows, maybe you can make one final purchase from Lammons. They're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. We're brought to you by Pinnacle home to the Pinnacle 401k advisory services team. They'll conduct a complimentary, no obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. And just it's mypinwealth.com, MYPINN wealth.com. If you're like me and you're trying to figure out, frankly, whether you can afford a summer vacation this year, and that's where I am. The kids want to take a vacation. I don't really want to pay for a vacation. We're having a mix of conflict about what the hell to do. And so I'm talking to John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated a little bit later this morning to see if there's something, a way to sort of, what's the word I'm looking for, thread that needle. You can do the same. Just give John some parameters, give John a budget. He'll give you some ideas and some options that you're probably not going to find on your own. 901-494-3387 or send him an email at jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-256-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer MedSync. Fill your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivery, and you have everything you need when you need it from G&M. Also, they have the individually packaged medications, those who need those for an extra step to make sure you have what you need when you need it. They're marked morning, afternoon, whatever the quantity and the duration is for that medicine. They make it easy for you. They sort them out, identify them, and let you go on with your day. So, again, that's whether it's Tyson Drugs in Holly Springs or Oxford with G&M, 662-236-2222. So I got it back. We're good. Yeah. It is
all done?
It's returned.
How about that?
They made that very easy, actually, once they got back this morning. Must have been pretty obvious one here. It's fine.
I think so.
It looks like it's probably yours. Looked like no activity at all except I got a spam DM from someone yesterday. SNIALO127FRVS was the username. First arrival in the city and don't have any friend around. Want to seek a man of maturity and a sense of humor. Saw your profile on
That's
tweet.
not spam.
That's an offer, isn't it?
Yeah, I've gotten several of those. It's just young women, young, attractive women, mostly kind of foreign and exotic. And
text me on WhatsApp, and I'm expecting to receive your messages. This is my ID.
It's not spam. We were having this conversation during one of the media waiting periods before media availability. I just thought it was just a sign that, I mean, listen, it makes all the sense in the world if you think about it. These young, exotic, single women are moving to Oxford, and they're new to the city, and they think, who do I want to reach out to for company?
Yeah.
How about a bald, early 50s, married sports writer? Makes all the sense in the world. I mean, they're just wanting some maturity. They've said a couple of times, wanted someone with maturity.
Okay.
Didn't want just some kid, didn't want some college kid who's just looking for a hookup. They wanted a more worldly guy, and that was me. And I've had to reply with, I can't. I'm taken.
I appreciate
but I absolutely appreciate
the courage it took to reach out.
Yeah, the overture. Now it's completely understand your logic of why
I'm very intimidating, but
yeah, and so and I also had to remind him I wasn't on the WhatsApp app.
Oh, so that's part of it too. There's a barrier for communication.
I don't really.
It would require you to download and set up some usernames.
Yeah, but no, that's not spam. Okay, that's a young woman. And she
seeking help.
She probably found out about your book.
Oh yeah,
and said, I've always kind of wanted to get to know an author.
Yeah, it was mentioned at the start of our stream. One person in Prentice County has taken the Morgan Wallen cancellation in her own hands, has filed suit. Less than 24 hours after Morgan Wallen suddenly announced he would not perform a scheduled concert to a packed crowd at Hemingway Stadium, one of the attendees has filed a federal lawsuit against the country music singer. The lawsuit, filed by a Prentice County resident who purchased tickets for the Sunday night concert, accuses the performer of violating the refund policy in his contract with the University of Mississippi and acting in a negligent manner against people who paid to attend the concert. Minutes before, blah, 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 da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. The plaintiff in the complaint believes simply refunding the tickets isn't enough. She's now seeking further compensation for other expenses she incurred while attending the concert. Quote, even if ticket prices are refunded, no offer has been made to reimburse concert goers for out-of-pocket expenses they incurred in connection with the concert cancellation, including transportation, lodging, food, merchandise sales, transaction fees, and other such expenses. Since the complaint was filed on Monday, Wallen and his legal representatives have not yet responded to the suit. It is not immediately clear if he has an attorney or spokesman to speak on his behalf. The Daily Journal, which I'm reading from right now, could not locate a communications representative on the performer's website. It's been assigned to U.S. District Judge Sharon Aycock. I'm sure she's really pleased this morning.
I'm sure she's like, what? Come on.
And the plaintiff is asking the litigation to be certified as a class action. So...
Okay, so...
Look, I get being pissed. People driving in from all over the country, losing God knows what. I get it. Because one of two things happened. He either had negligent behavior that led to it, or he lost his voice, and if that happened, then he was overbooked or something caused that to happen. Again, I get things
he's canceled his next 3 shows.
Saw that. But so here's the deal. This is the only people that were directly penalized like this.
Yeah.
Because he rescheduled those shows.
Okay.
Same thing. I mean, obviously it sucks for those people. They had plans. But I mean, rescheduling and cancellation is not the same thing.
Again, I'm with her. Right, except for this. Let's say I book a trip to Boston and I buy a ticket to a Red Sox-Yankees game. And for whatever reason, before the game, maybe they have some issue with bugs or something, and they have to cancel the game.
It rains.
Okay. I'm SOL, not just the ticket. I bought plane tickets. I got a hotel room.
Yes, you're assuming a level of liability for your expenses once you agree to the event in general.
It happens.
Yeah, I get it.
Doesn't mean that it doesn't suck. But here's the thing.
This has no chance because the can of worms this would open moving forward.
Yes.
Where this becomes a precedent.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
No.
I mean, Joseph right here says I flew in from D.C., boarding a flight back in 2 hours.
I mean, look.
It sucks.
If you want to punish Morgan Wallen, the only way you can punish Morgan Wallen is to not ever go to one of his shows again. Don't buy his music and don't download his music. That's it. Otherwise, because you can't prove, I don't think. Maybe there's something that's coming up. You probably know more about what happened than I do. But can you prove that he didn't lose his voice? Can you prove that he was physically, because of his vocal cords, unable to perform? I don't know. If you can't, you're not winning.
Well, I mean, here's the deal.
I mean,
even if he had too much to drink, that still doesn't mean his vocal cords were working properly. Like,
right.
They didn't say he was sober and had vocal cord problems.
No.
Again, I don't know what happened. I have no clue.
I have no clue either. My point is can you prove that had it not been for his behavior, and
we're
again,
not slandering Morgan Wallen. We're acting with no
and again,
malicious
we're
intent.
alleging.
Yeah.
We're alleging.
But
here.
we're not. We're acting with no malicious intent.
But let's go one further.
Yeah.
Let's say Morgan Wallen tied one on, got lit up like a Christmas tree, ended up in some crazy Airbnb with 3 college juniors, okay? Went wild. That doesn't mean that he lost his voice. At the end of the day, he said, I lost my voice. I can't prove that he didn't lose his voice.
Well, he did say he had been resting and doing everything throughout the day to recuperate.
Okay, well, maybe he started resting at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's true. You can't complain about merch because you have the merch.
Yeah, you have the merch.
You didn't have to give the merch back.
You bought the merch.
That's
yeah.
You literally bought the T-shirt. Okay, like
Yeah.
you get to keep the T-shirt.
Yeah.
They didn't say, "And please take your bags and leave them at the front gate when you exit."
No.
That was That's a good point. Okay, I don't know.
I'd actually go see Taylor Swift just to see Taylor Swift.
Would you?
Even though, she's a big deal.
Has she ever canceled a concert day of?
This is something I
Ever?
don't know. I've never heard of it, but I don't know that I would be the authority on that particular subject. That genre is not where I have any expertise. Yeah, I mean, if you bought the shirt, I don't know. I'm not a big concert guy anyway. I've been to some concerts and they're fine, but I'm not that guy that's like, hey, I got to go find a club that's got a lot of live music. I'm fine with it, but I typically don't go seek it out. And sometimes if you're just hanging out with your friends and stuff and you want to be able to talk with your friends, the live music is a distraction.
Yeah.
Because you're having to scream over it. But, I mean, I think when you buy a concert ticket that there's a possibility that the performer will get sick or whatever. I mean, there are people. I mean, that's a possibility, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, they're humans. I mean, yeah, things happen. There have been singers cancel shows because of vocal issues in the past. That's not uncommon.
You buy a ticket to an Angels game because you want to see Shohei Ohtani, and that's the night that he gets a night off. You buy a ticket to a Lakers game because you want to see LeBron, and he gets rest that night.
You can't sue.
No. I mean, I went to a Cleveland game in Atlanta one year because LeBron was with Cleveland, and he rested that night. Got to see him sit.
No, there you go. You got to see some other dude play 38 minutes. It's fine. We'll get some basketball in a second, but if you just like history and watching a fan base potentially overcome what has been a pretty tortured couple decades, the Toronto Maple Leafs are up 3-1 in their series against Tampa Bay Lightning. They obviously take their hockey very seriously in Toronto, and they're one win away from their first playoff series victory in 19 years.
Oh, wow.
So they're either going to blow a 3-1 lead or win a series. So either way, I'm locked into the Leafs.
There have been some columns written in that Toronto Star.
Oh, I bet.
Over the years. Is it the Toronto Star? Toronto
I believe
Globe?
that's correct. Star made sense. But
Star makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. What's the park there in Toronto? Isn't that related to the newspaper somehow?
It's the Rogers Center, right?
It is now. Yeah, that's right. Okay.
It used to be Sky Dome.
Well, yeah, I remember that. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah.
So, NHL, if you're curious. And then a little bit of an upset that was supposed to be a fairly easy series. The defending champion Avalanche are now 2-2 with the Kraken out of Seattle. Yeah, 2-2 there between the Kraken and the Avalanche. I think a lot of international sports fans, they said, hey, the Kraken are playing the Avalanche. What sport are we talking about right now? You think a majority of English people would be able to pull that off?
They'd probably think it was MLS or something.
Oh, you think so?
Maybe.
You don't think they have like a passing MLS, whatever, just because it's soccer? They look down on it.
They scoff at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has gotten better, though, because they've started taking players from MLS.
Did you see where we've been talking about Wrexham a good bit lately after they got promoted? Did you see where they're playing Chelsea and Charlotte this summer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did.
I guess you would know that. Sorry.
I heard about that.
Okay, my fault. Yeah, you would. I mean, I know it's way different, but like, what does that soccer match look like with those differing levels of athletes on the field for 90 minutes?
Well,
like, what will that do?
It's preseason, so Chelsea will not play the game. Chelsea will play the game in much the same way that an NFL team would play week 1 of the preseason.
So vanilla,
and your starters are only going to play a few minutes.
Okay.
So you're going to see their backups.
So they're not going to beat them 14-0 or something.
No, I told you it was one of the cooler events that I've been to. I was shocked at how cool it was. We went to in July. We went to Las Vegas, and we went to the Chelsea versus Copa America, the team out of Mexico City.
Okay.
And I don't know what I was or why I was expecting it to be whatever. I thought it was going to be really underwhelming. And something in the back of my head told me, no, go ahead and buy the tickets, dumbass. Buy them ahead of time. You're going to be glad you did. Because I almost was going to wait and just buy tickets at the gate. That would have been an error. It was cool. It was packed. The Wrexham Chelsea game, I'm guessing in Charlotte will be very close to a sellout.
Yeah, I would think so, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Chelsea coming to the U.S., they're going to put a ton of people in it like you're talking about, but also that television series is really freaking popular. I mean, because look, I don't care about soccer at all. I would go if it was close.
Yeah.
If I lived in the Charlotte area, I would go to that.
Well, and here's what Ginger's exactly right. Seeing the backups for Chelsea, and she's right. You're still seeing some of the best soccer players that you've ever seen. The level of soccer, and I've been to some MLS games.
Yeah, sure.
And MLS is getting better. But the level of soccer that night was strong.
So I'm using quotes like the Chelsea sixth man is going to impress the hell,
yes.
whatever of you.
Yeah, and we saw Chelsea starters play half a game.
Okay.
I mean, it was like Pulisic was out there.
It's a different level of movement.
Oh, yeah. They were good. I mean, and like
it's faster than I think it is, right?
Yeah, and I'm sitting, much. And I'm sitting next to a soccer aficionado who goes, that guy plays for this World Cup team, and this guy plays for him, and he plays for this team, and yeah.
Okay. Aaron Rodgers headed to the Jets finally. It's done. They're a Super Bowl contender, right? They had a top 5 defense last year.
Yeah. They're a Super Bowl contender.
Right?
Yeah.
Is Breece Hall healthy?
I'm assuming that the ACL's healed.
Yeah. If you believe Rodgers is an NFL quarterback still that can take your team to the Super Bowl, they're a Super Bowl contender.
Yes, they're a contender. Now, are they a favorite? No. Would I still pick Kansas City over the Jets?
Would you still pick Buffalo in the division?
Well, now look.
Now, that's a question.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Buffalo has some roster issues. The Jets, if Rodgers is elite, are every bit as good as Buffalo and maybe better. And then the wild card team in that division is Miami. I mean, there's no more of a wild card player in the entire NFL than Tua Tagovailoa. Because when Tua was healthy and playing last year, Miami was damn good.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Tua wasn't playing and he wasn't very healthy, they took a step back. But if you remember, it was a warning sign for Buffalo. If you remember in the playoffs last year, Miami damn near did it before Cincinnati did do it.
Yeah, sure.
So to answer your question, I think the Jets are absolutely a division contender. But there are still 2 teams in the AFC that I think are head and shoulders above those teams.
The Jets have not had a top 10 offense or a 20-touchdown passer since 2015. They've gone 8 years without even that. There's only been one Jet in NFL history, or team history, to throw for 4,000 yards in a season. Joe Namath.
Yeah.
So in the modern era of football, when everybody's throwing for 5,000 yards, the Jets have not had a 4,000-yard passer. Think about that.
The thing on Rodgers, and Doors Rules is right. I'll give him credit for this because I was thinking it, but he typed it out. Rodgers is almost 40 years old.
Yeah, you only have 1 or 2 years here with this. If you've got, and frankly, you might not even have a year.
Well, and
I get why they did it.
Oh, I get it too, but like Drew Brees, when he fell, he fell.
Well, he couldn't throw the ball down the field.
Tom Brady last year fell.
Yes.
He wasn't the same guy physically. He just couldn't do the same things anymore. This happens to all the greats. Michael Jordan went from, dude is phenomenal, to, ooh, I don't want to watch this anymore. It's what makes LeBron, what LeBron is doing right now, so incredible. LeBron's 38 years old, LeBron James, 38 years old, and he still plays at such an incredibly high level.
Mm-hmm.
But the day will come
when he does it.
Assuming, I guess, look, no one's ever beaten Father Time. Maybe LeBron does it. The day will come when his game just falls off and he loses a step. And so the question is, does that happen to Rodgers now?
Details on this. The Packers, again, they agreed to it on Monday. So the Packers traded Aaron Rodgers and their first-round pick, which is number 15, and a 2023 fifth-round pick to the Jets. The Jets gets New York's 13th, so they just swap 15 and 13. The Jets move up 2 spots from 15 to 13. A 2023 second-round pick, a 2023 sixth-round pick, and then a 2024 second-round pick that becomes the first-round pick if he plays at least 65% of their snaps this season. Oh. So barring him getting hurt, they get a first-rounder next year. They won the trade.
The Packers won the trade.
Now, the Jets, they win a Super Bowl, they won the trade, but it really literally takes that.
Yeah.
Well, literally. No, that's it. Because if you don't win a Super Bowl, you've hurt your future and you didn't win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You either get a ring or you don't.
And if you're Green Bay, you're like, we weren't winning with him.
2 years of, that was cool. We made the divisional round. No, hell no.
Yeah, and the rest of the NFC North has caught them. Detroit has, at a minimum, caught them.
Minnesota and Detroit are finishing 1-2 next year in the North.
And the Bears
they at least have a plan. I don't know.
Are improving their roster.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He's going to wear number 8, by the way. 12 is retired, Joe Namath of the Jets.
Okay.
Namath did tell him he could wear it if he wanted to.
I wouldn't want to take Joe Namath's
Let's not do that in the Jets.
That's asking for trouble. Thank you, Mr. Namath, but I'll try something different.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but he wore 8 in college at Cal.
Oh, okay.
So he's wearing
that's cool.
8. Yeah, he's wearing 8. I'm interested.
Well,
now forget the draft. Hey, now I'm in now.
No, there's
I'm in,
and I'm suddenly more interested in the Packers now. What do they look like with Jordan Love?
Yeah,
dude's waited a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Gets a shot.
A little bit of symmetry here. Brett Favre goes with the Jets and end of his career.
So, Aaron, when you pull out the camera and you think, you know what she'd like to see,
she would not.
She would not like to see.
I have a feeling that's not a concern.
Yeah, he doesn't seem
He seemed to have been okay in that.
He doesn't seem like the type that would send out the pic of his
genitalia.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something I've always wondered about, by the way.
You got to be one confident mofo who goes, hey, she really wants that.
Because, and again, I've never been a woman, but I know a few. And I don't know that I know one who's like, you know what I would really like to get today is an unsolicited photo of male genitalia. That would do it for me. I just don't think that's a guy thing. We're idiots.
Hey.
Here's what you want to see, babe. This is going to push it over the top.
No.
Probably not.
Not so much.
Not so much. Like, you got to wonder, what's the thought process? You know, she's kind of playing hard to get. I'm not getting the best vibes.
Hail Mary.
So here's what I'm going to do.
Just don't. I like that hat more and more as I see it. I don't even care about the Cubs. And that cap is really good.
It's a good cap. I like the cap.
Yeah. He's wearing his clock cap for any podcast person.
It's set for 120 because the Cubs day games start at 120.
It's really good. It's a great cap. Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC, service people across rural communities, 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's AnySpark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, or wireless mesh extender for those who need the extra help, and much more. So to get the best internet in Lafayette County, also parts of Union and Pontotoc counties, that's 662-238-3159.
If you're coming up this weekend for a double-decker for the Ole Miss Georgia series, whatever, stop by Opa. It's on the square in Oxford, obviously. It's Oxford's newest Greek restaurant. Fabulous food, great craft libations, and much, much more at Opa on the square in Oxford. I'll have a mailbag at rebelgrove.com tomorrow. It is brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes, and you can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844. Get the beautiful and healthy smile you deserve at Corinth Dental. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures that will result in a beautiful, long-lasting smile. From routine checkups to advanced treatment building implants and Invisalign, Corinth Dental is here to help you achieve your smile goals. Schedule your appointment today. Take the first step towards a better version of yourself. CorinthDental.com. And we've been brought to you by Southern Service Specialist, staffing and recruiting agency. Told you yesterday about if you're looking for a job, if you are looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent for your company, Service Specialist can help you as well. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You've got nothing to lose. So give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website, servicespecialistltd.com. And we're brought to you by our good friends at Southern Traditions Farm. It's a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails. There's a lot to be offered at Southern Traditions. Beginner horseback riding offerings, very advanced horseback riding that leads to competing in nationally recognized competitions, and much, much more. Get in touch with them on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm.
So I mentioned Ole Miss, Mississippi State tonight in Pearl. It's a 6 o'clock start. I think I had that right. It is streamed, by the way. Pearl is streaming both games this year for the first time, I think, since this series moved there from Smith-Will Stadium in 2006. Riley Maddox posted on Twitter yesterday that he has been medically cleared for the Georgia series this weekend. Maddox last pitched on April 22nd, 2022 against Mississippi State. He had Tommy John surgery in early May, and now he's back, I guess 53 weeks later, something like that, from his injury. He threw his first 100% bullpen on March 27th, and he's thrown to live hitters a couple times since then. So that's the new.
It's a year.
Yeah, that's the new way this works.
Mm-hmm.
Because I asked Mike this a few weeks ago. I was like, "Does he hit a schedule?" And he goes, "Not really anymore. He's just kind of on schedule." He goes, "He's hit every benchmark. He hasn't had any setbacks, but it's not out of the norm or uncommon at this point." Because it used to be 14, 15 months, and they've shaved 2-3 months off this.
They pretty much have it down to a science. If the surgery is done properly and you do the rehab according to plan, pretty much know can't rush it.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's basically a year.
He has to still get feel. We'll see what it looks like. Well, you have nothing to lose pitching this weekend. See what it is. They're going to start Grayson Saunier tonight. Yeah, that's kind of where they are right now. We'll see if they go on some huge run. We'll pick it back up as a higher part of the conversation, but that's not what's going on right now. Again,
certainly would be unexpected.
Yeah, because everybody goes, "Hey, last year they're 3 games below last year's number, even as bad as last year was." I mean, there's a huge difference in 6-12 and 3-15. I mean, that's a full week of sweeps.
Yes,
less. So,
yeah, I'm super careful with putting too much on tape here because.
Oh, I know. I mean, I'm like.
I mean, I'm not giving you that material.
As long as there's a pulse. We're,
Yeah. I'm not writing you off. Nope. Maybe.
Heat gonna close it out. 3-1.
I think Game 5, Milwaukee will win.
That's a win. They have to win Game 6.
Game 6 is that pivotal game for the
because they're going to lose Game 7
Heat.
if they play it.
You'd have to pick Milwaukee in
because Giannis was good last
7.
night.
He
Triple
was.
double.
Well, I mean, Butler was just out of his mind.
He didn't miss.
He was
all night.
great. He's a great player. He doesn't get credit for it.
He's
sometimes.
one of the most underrated players in the league. He's maybe the most underrated player in the league.
He's way up the list of underrated players.
And then just a death knell to Memphis last night.
Yeah.
LeBron with the layup with 0.8 to go to force overtime, and then they win 117-111.
You had to get one there. So for Memphis, the key is now.
You can make of this what you want to. You can make fun of media, but it does say something to the mindset. Frankly, it makes the Grizzlies, again, less likable. They talk and talk and talk and talk and talk if they win. Morant and Brooks both declined any interviews after the game last night.
So there's two ways to look at it.
Sure.
One is what you just said. And two is that for young teams, and Memphis is still a young team.
Oh, very young.
The typical path to a title includes several playoff disappointments. And if this series ends in the first round, this is a playoff disappointment. The 2 seed losing to a 7. I don't care if it's LeBron. It's the 7. And the Lakers,
the Lakers are not elite. Let's not.
For as good as they are and for as talented as they are not an elite team. They're a flawed team. They lost a lot of games for a reason. Now, it's still Anthony Davis. It's still LeBron James. And LeBron James still wills teams to victories. But if this series doesn't work out for Memphis, they have no one to blame but themselves. But they've got to learn from this. And that's the challenge for them. Is what we were talking about Ole Miss baseball yesterday about, hey, look, if this ends up going 7-23.
Yeah, learn something.
It happens. You better learn something. If this ends up with the first round exit, you've got to take a good, long, soul-searching look in the mirror at two things. What are we missing? And I think with them, it's more importantly, it's what's our mindset? Because Dylan Brooks, LeBron was going to play hard anyway. LeBron knows that the clock is ticking. He knows what's at stake. He wants to add to his legacy, all those things. Why did you wake him up? Why did you add fuel to his fire? What was the point? It would literally be back in the day a guy saying, "Yeah, Jordan,
nah,
he ain't all that anymore." Oh, that's not smart. No.
Yeah.
Common sense.
It's the basketball version of in golf. They had the match play, and the first day, Stephen Ames drew Tiger, and he said, "Well, the way he's hitting it, anything could happen today." Tiger beat him 9-8. Like, stop. No.
And so I think for Memphis, they had the Ja Morant distraction fairly late in the season. And then you've got the Brooks stuff, and they're still a very talented team. They will go in the next season as very much a contender in the West. But they got to figure this out a little bit. And typically, but this is what happens, is you have a postseason disappointment that leads to a hardening and a resolving, and you make the next step eventually.
But learn.
It also shows you the statement of all time, but that's true. Winning a title is really hard.
You have a window.
And it takes a degree of luck that you can't predict. And it's just difficult. And yeah, Memphis has a window. This window with Brooks and Bane and Morant. And, Kennard's been good for them. I don't know how much they've missed Steven Adams in the postseason. He would have helped them in this series a little bit with his body. Jaren Jackson Jr. has had a special season, especially on the defensive end. And they're not dead. Look, I think they'll win Game 5. And so the question for them comes back to, Can you go to Los Angeles and win Game 6 and force a Game 7, which would be an epic game in Memphis? Memphis and the Lakers with LeBron James in a Game 7 in Memphis would be amazing.
It would.
But you got to go win Game 6. You got to win Game 5 first. Because here's the thing: the Lakers might sleepwalk through Game 5.
No, when they get the game at home.
But you'll have to play.
You got a war in Game 6.
You'll have to play the game of your professional career.
And I get it. He did. He gets protected. It just is what it is. Find a way to win the game.
Of course. They're going to protect LeBron James.
I mean, it's ridiculous. And it makes him that much better because it's like, my God, you already are that good. And now.
Yeah.
And the Lakers, they complain about every damn call.
They do.
Every call. But it appears to work.
It works.
Tonight, Atlanta and Boston. It will end. Boston up 3-1 in Boston tonight at the Garden. 6:30 tonight, TNT for that. Also ending tonight, NBA TV. Denver will dispose of Minnesota at 8 o'clock Central, I would think, back in Denver tonight.
I would think so.
For Game 5. And then at 9 o'clock, the Suns have a chance to close out the Clippers. That's at TNT at 9 o'clock tonight.
And they will. And in some ways, the Suns need to play together a little more. That group hasn't played together very much, and it shows. They're clunky.
I mean, don't lose the game, but
yeah. So they'll get Denver next.
Mm-hmm.
That will be a really interesting series.
It will.
A team that has played together a lot against a team that hasn't played together much at all.
And then for those that are curious tonight, NHL, 3 games. Carolina's up 3-1 on the New York Islanders. They can close out that series. Dallas and Minnesota, 2-2. Good series there. Dallas, who used to be in Minnesota, playing each other. And then L.A. and Edmonton. We mentioned that yesterday. Connor McDavid, they had the overtime win. That 2-2 tonight back in Edmonton, 8:30 on ESPN. They get the main network for that. Doubleheader on NHL on ESPN tonight. Islanders, Hurricanes, and Kings, Oilers.
Alan makes a good point about the window talk, and this is still a really young team, very much in their window. What you can't predict is how many opportunities you'll get, though. Do you have injuries? I mean, I remember when the Thunder started with Thunder Part 1, that Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden and Serge Ibaka and those guys. What you couldn't predict is that Durant would have foot issues, that Westbrook would have a playoff injury, that Ibaka would have a playoff injury, that Harden would have a hard time staying out of strip clubs and would want out. All these things you couldn't necessarily predict. So you don't know that this group's going to be together for 5 years. And so sometimes the window is more narrow than you think it is because you just didn't see it closing. And for Memphis, it might not be that way. The window might be wide open and it might stay open for 5 years, and these guys might all stay and play together. The new CBA might be very attractive, and it makes it where Memphis can keep all of these guys intact as a group, and they can play together. You just don't know.
Yeah. So, all right. Podcast tomorrow. Rebel Grove, in the meantime, wrote some stuff about baseball this morning. If you're interested, and again, Bulldogs and Rebels from Pearl tonight for that one. The Governor's Cup. There's a big shiny trophy to the winner. I think it's actually glass. I don't think it's shiny. I think it's glass or crystal or whatever.
Is it the same one every year? They just bring it back and forth?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Beats me. I've never really followed the Governor's Cup trophy to see. I guess the Mayor's Trophy just stays with whoever won the last one when they switch from the Mayor's Trophy to the Governor's Cup.
These are things I don't know.
Maybe we should write a story on that. Where is the Mayor's Trophy?
Where is the Mayor's Trophy? Yeah. Who won the last one?
I don't know. I have to look it up. I think Ole Miss, because I think it was. I
think you should call Mike right now and say, "Hey, I was wondering about."
I just got a question. I know you're busy.
He would be thrilled.
Yeah, I'm writing about the 2006 Mayor's Trophy game. I'm just kind of curious. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, Mike, you there?
Yeah,
Mike, I lose you?
Yeah. All right, podcast up in all its formats. Appreciate everybody in the stream. Another one tomorrow to move on with the week. So take care.